You ready for this? All right. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name's Frank Castillo, and this feels great.
And you've had massages before.
Mm-hmm.
I almost fucked up massages.
What do you mean?
I was like, you've had mine.
Oh. I've had some fucked up massages too.
Have you?
Yeah.
Any good stories?
No, nothing too crazy. Actually, me and my, this is such a random story. Me and my father used to live in this house, right?
Uh-huh.
I was in Eastside San Jose. This is when I was in high school, and I remember these Asian ladies that moved in, and they were basically they just rented the front room, and every now and then there'd just be random dudes in the living room, and then my friend came up to me one day and was like, "Dude, this is your house," and it was a ad in the paper for massages with our address and everything. And then my friend was like, "Dude, I think there's prostitution going on at your house." And it turns out those chicks were prostitutes, and they were just fucking people.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So and I was in high school. I was like, no way. This is I didn't know the full extent of it. But my dad apparently told me he was he got stopped by the cops on the way to work, and because they thought he was in on it and shit. And he was like, "Nah, man, I just rent a room."
Right.
And they're like, "Have you ever fucking he was like, "Nah, man." And then it was like, "Oh, okay." And they had to vet him and make sure he wasn't lying and shit. He was like, "Nah, man, I just got a fucking son." It was hysterical.
That's insane.
Yeah, and then but there was they were like, "All right, well, fucking, you can't be at your house on this day." And it was like, "All right," and then he let it slip to my stepmom, and my stepmom is super nosy, just like I am. So we all hopped in the car and drove out to go to, and then sure enough, there was fucking cops and shit. It was wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty dope.
Now, do you get along with your stepmom?
Yeah, we get along very well. I get along with all of the people my parents have had sex with.
Okay.
It's a lot of people.
That's a statement. Alrighty then. I wish my parents would have sex with other people.
Hilarious.
They're stuck in this loveless marriage, and I'm all, stop, just separate. You guys would be so much happier.
My parents are divorced. My mom's got her. My stepdad was great. My dad just moved in with his new lady, so it's cool to see them both having, stability. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Because my mom, in fact, my parents were just here 2 days ago, and my mom's like, "Your dad," blah, blah, blah. And my dad's like, "Your mom," and I'm like, "Oh my, just separate."
Yeah, you're I don't want to be the one that has to listen. Yeah, I'm terrible when it comes to that. Setting those boundaries of being like, "Hey, man, I don't want to hear about
Oh, I don't. I will never stick up for myself. I have the worst tattoo on my big toe because I watched him put it on my body, and the whole time I'm like, I don't want this. This isn't what I asked for. And John's like, "Why didn't you say something?" I'm like, "Because I just
so polite.
I didn't want to." Because I wanted a simple horse fly, because people talk to my feet, so it was symbolic, the fly on your toe or the fly on the wall, because everybody talks to my feet, and it is huge. It's it's my whole big toe, and it looks like.
Now I have to see it.
I'll show it to you. It's awful. It's so awful.
You ever watch your friend just get a bad tattoo and you're like, "Ah!" I should say something, but I'm not gonna.
No, but somebody should have got Jay Light before he got his.
I like Jay Light's tattoo. He's got such I'm an Italian guy tattoos.
Yeah, but the one I haven't told him yet because I haven't seen him. But the middle of that cow head tattoo, it looks like a vagina.
Hilarious. Well, I mean, if you know Jay Light, he used to get a lot of that.
Well, maybe it's an homage.
Yeah, man, to his heydays,
It makes sense because it's a bone and it's a vagina. Okay, all right.
I remember Jay Light was so fucking fun. He's such a funny kid. Because we were here. we started working here together kind of at the same time.
Okay.
And, you know, I got to see what it was like when he was single and, you know, not sober. This kid was just a maniac. Well, it was adorable, man, because he was also just such a sweet kid, so chicks would just be like, oh, look at this sweet kid.
And he's like, yeah, now look at my dick.
Mm-hmm. Nah, that's not what you do. But I remember, this is great, I'm talking about my friends' relationships. I remember there was a chick that I used to work at I used to work at the Starbucks. There was this girl that would always come in, and she was like, you know, I know she was like a PA or whatever, but she'd have to get coffee for all these people. And like, I just remember like everyone in this Starbucks, all the people, especially the guys that worked there, just had huge crushes on this chick. And, you know, when she ever come in, we'd always like shoot shit and, you know, crack jokes and shit, and because I was the only one that just wasn't trying to fucking hit on her. And what's called, one day I walk into my living room, because me and Jerry are living together, and she's in my living room.
And she's a prostitute.
No. They just all went to school together. And I was like, oh, that's fucking hysterical. Jay was like, you know her? And I was like, you know Jay? And it was like, such a small world.
Isn't it? It's funny. Yeah. See, I met you the very first time I bombed. So
really? Was I mean?
You were mean.
Was it lovingly though?
I don't remember.
You're
I kind of blacked
my neck
out.
Right now, are you?
No.
Oh, hilarious.
It was when you were on Kill Tony with Mike Lawrence.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if I was sitting next to Mike, I was probably nicer.
It was awful.
Hey man, I remember that.
Oh my god. And then we were walking home and I was like, I'm not gonna cry. Or we were walking to the car and I was like, that's it, I'm done with comedy. Because that was the first time I like bombed so hard that I was all, oh, this hurts. And I was like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. And John's all, we can still go to the Comedy Store, right? Though, like, you. And I'm all, you can't give me like a minute. You know I'm not gonna quit. I'm upset. And like, fuck you, jackass.
Oh, so funny.
Now, does your wife come and watch you?
Not as much anymore. She used to a lot, and then she was like, I've served my time. Yeah, I try to be as nice, and I tease everybody as much as I can. But you know, it's so funny that sometimes you just forget that it's someone's first time, and they may not be as, you know, used to being made. You know, I grew up with so many fucking cousins and just a big ass Mexican family, so like we always got made fun of. And if you cried, you got made fun of even more for fucking crying. So like, you know, when you're, you know, doing mics and hosting and stuff, it's like, you know, it's easy to tease people.
Right.
And I forget sometimes. Like I remember I went up on it was a development spot on a belly room show, I think, and you know, I went up and I had been working all day and I was just, you know, just fucking having fun, just being loose, and you know, this girl in front of me bombed and like I cracked a joke and I was like, comedy's hard, guys, you know, and everyone laughed and like it was like fucking, you know, it was funny. And then, you know, I just did my shit and then I just went back to work. I just never thought anything of it. And then like, I remember like a year later, I ran into that same girl and we were just like talking, and then she was like, you don't remember me, do you? I'm like, no, what happened? She was like, first time we ever went on stage, after I bombed, and afterwards you said comedy's hard, and everyone laughed, and I was mortified. I was like, oh, I felt so fucking bad.
Well, see, it wasn't the fact that you guys were mean, because I was like, I deserve it. It was just the fact that this material had been working at all these open mics, and it's the first time I got on the main room stage at the Comedy Store, and I was all, this hurts so bad.
Plus, there's a lot of it's you know, when you have intense pressure, or like just the, you know, the moment where you have to deliver or come through, you know, like that's what a lot of comedy is just preparing yourself for stuff like that. Where you're like, oh, okay, you know, now I gotta like deliver and like come through with the goods. It's interesting. It's also just, you start to realize what it is, especially when you're on stage and there's people and you're like, oh, I gotta be funny now. It's a scary thing.
Well, I featured for Aiden Park last weekend, and the 3 people who were in front of me, it just wasn't their night. I've heard they were funny before, but a lot of my massage patients were in the audience. So I got on stage And I was like, hey guys, good news. None of you have to tip me next week. I'm sorry.
So
And yeah, I think somebody didn't think that was very funny, but I was like,
I mean, if you're doing this, you got to be able to get teased.
right.
I mean, my best friend, growing up, when I came up, I was, Trey Stewart and a bunch of really good dudes were like Quincy Weekly and all these guys were like my friends and fucking, especially black comics, if you suck, they will fucking tell you.
Which, yes.
And like, Trey Stewart would fucking talk so much shit to me. It was the funniest thing. But I mean, those are your friends, man. You need that. You need your friend to look at you and be like, yo, bro, that's not funny. Or like, you could do better. Or you can, you're a better comic than that, blah, blah, blah. You need people like that around.
I agree. Those yes people that are like, oh my God, you're so funny. I'm like, yeah, but.
What do I need to improve on?
Yes, or exactly. And there's times when you're just fucking around and you're like, fuck, I just got a punchline. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. I mean, I think that's what it's like when I have friends. I don't have any, so.
Well, what are you talking about?
I'm okay with that.
Hands like these, you don't have friends? Or...
Everybody likes my hand. In fact, Jason Rouse. He was talking to me and he goes, when I talk to you, I just stare at your hands. And I'm all, okay. And well, normally it's my tits, but all right, we'll do hands. And he's like, I want them on me. Okay. That's what I'm good for. Yay! So, girl, how many brothers and sisters do you have?
I'm the oldest. I have three younger siblings, two sisters, one brother. I almost forgot. That's hilarious. Maseo, Asadet, and Ace. Oh, and Melina. I'm so fucking relaxed and mixing up nicknames. Yeah, Maseo, Asadet, we also call her Ace, and then Melina.
Okay.
Yeah. Melina's oldest, Ace is second oldest, and then Maceo's the youngest.
Now, how far apart are you guys?
Oh man, my oldest sister's 20, so we're about 10 and a half, 11 years apart.
Okay.
Then my little Ace, I think we're like 18, 19 years apart. She's like 11, 12, I think right now. 30, yeah, but 18, 19. My other little brother's about 20, 21. Yeah, I think that adds up. I'm fucking terrible with math.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Because all my boys are 5 years apart. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no, there's a big age gap. They're gonna be sleeping on my couch when they're in their 20s.
My brother slept on my couch. That was fun for like a year. He came over the other day, and I'm like, everybody get off Uncle Adam's bed, and he's all, fuck you.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind being the successful brother and then being like, yeah, fucking you kids come find yourselves on my couch for a summer. You know what I mean?
Right. It's fun, though, because it was just me and my brother, and I'm 6 years older. Mm-hmm. So I was like, come. And now he's married, and they're having a baby, and I'm like, fuck, you're grown up now.
It's weird. They don't stay young forever.
No. I told Brody, I was like, you're going to start smoking cigarettes. And he's like, why? And I go, because I need to stunt your growth. You're 8. You're already getting too big for me. And he's it. Although I'm trying to convince John that we need a bunny. Because when my kids start getting older, I'm like, I need something else to love.
No, yeah, pets are important, man. Especially when I'm on the road all the time. Like, having a cat at home, it really helps. One, with me and my wife, because, she gets lonely when I'm gone. And then when I'm home, she, works pretty much during the day. And fucking, comics life's all from fucking 7 p.m. on.
Right.
So it's like, she comes home at 7 and we hang out for like 3 hours and then I'm gone for like fucking Batman.
Yep. I love that you said Batman. He's my superhero.
Oh, nice.
I have a Batman tramp stamp. Remember how you were talking about watching your friend get bad tattoos? Yeah.
You're a lot of friends' bad tattoo story.
Yeah, I am.
So funny.
I have the tattoo on my neck. I have the Batman tramp stamp. I have the fly on my yeah, there's a lot of them that are just like, what the fuck was I thinking? And I always tell John, I'm like, yeah, it's the Bat tramp stamp. Like, it's located above the Bat Cave. That's where it belongs. So when did you start comedy?
10 years ago when I was 21 years old.
How did you get into the roast battle stuff then?
It was just an open mic, and it was a thing that happened in the middle of the open mic, and I just asked Brian Moses if I could play music, if he needed a DJ, and he was like, sure.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And then just kind of grew from there. It was just all organic.
Now, have you been back since you won?
No, I've been like a few times on the road at some festivals, but not really. I'm just mostly focusing on stand-up.
Okay.
You know, because it's like, I did the thing I needed to do, you know?
Right, you hit the top.
Well, I just, I won, and then I was also like, well, I just gotta get better at stand-up. And I did,
Oh my God, your mom was so adorable, though, during your roast battle.
A lot of comics find my parents attractive, which is such a... You should pay. I'm just like, all right, everyone get away from my mom.
Yeah, try having, who was it, Jessie Mae Peluso. I showed her a picture of my 19-year-old, and she's like, I'm going to have sex with your son. And I was
all... fucking Jessie Mae.
Oh, no.
Hilarious.
And I was like, dude, he still pees on the toilet seat. He doesn't know how to use his dick. She's like, I'll teach him.
That's all that raw energy.
Right. Like, okay. And that sucks because he is a good-looking kid. Like, he's trying to get in the fire department, so he works out all the time.
So funny.
And it's funny, too, because John's like, I used to look like you. He's all, shut up, Dad. He's like, no, I used to have abs just like you, and now look at me. And he's like, I'm not going to look like you, Dad. And he's like, uh-huh.
Okay. It all goes away.
But yeah, I see women like looking at him, and I'm like, stop it. He's a baby. Stop it.
18's legal, dog. I remember I was, I think I was like 20. First time I slept with like an older woman.
How old?
I might have been 19 maybe. I just remember I worked at a beer garden. She was at least 10, 12 years older than me. And I was just like, had no idea.
Did she teach you anything?
Had to tie my shoes.
Because I always wonder, like, when an older person is like, no, come with me and I'm going to teach you the secret ways.
It's such a funny, like, not double standard, but it's like, it's very much celebrated when older women, teach young men stuff like that. But then it was like, when there's like a creepy old dude hitting on some young chick, it's like, yeah, that's weird as fuck, dude.
But it depends on how creepy they are, because like some old guys are super hot, and you're like, fuck yeah.
I mean, as long as they're attractive, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like 50 Shades of Grey wouldn't have been a successful movie if it was a fucking fat dude.
That's true. That lady made so much money off those books. Oh my God.
They're all fucking spelled wrong and shit.
You know what? As an author, like, I'll give it to her, because what she did is she posted it on a free website, called Wattpad, and she was posting chapters every week, and she had like tens of thousands of people following her. And so finally the public, I don't know who she published with, but whatever company it was, they were like, dude, these books are going to make money. So they bought them, and I think instead of like taking them through an editor and really polishing them up, they're like, they're already making money. Why the fuck would we spend money to polish them up? So let's just get them out there.
Hilarious.
So yeah.
These fucking chicks reading the books with one hand and shit. They're just like, can't be bothered spelling.
Those books, though, the only thing about them is they always end in missionary.
Hilarious.
It's true. Like, he spanks her, he puts a ball gag on her, and then he sticks her on her back and sticks it in her. And I'm like, well...
I've never read the books. I remember, every chick I fucking ever met was reading them, and I was like, okay. My wife read them, and I was like, I can't be in here while you're just fucking...
See, I read them, and good for her, because, I mean, she did what I want to do. Like, the day my books get on movie screens, I'm going to be like, fuck yes.
I mean, absolutely. That chick was like, I fucking knew what they needed, and I delivered.
And in fact, I have a lot of women who read my books, and, like, there are 1-star reviews where they're like, it doesn't have enough sex. And I'm like, fuck you guys. Damn.
Some chick in the Midwest just fucking like, God damn it.
When are they gonna? Because the first one in my rock and roll series, they don't have sex in the whole first book. And people are like, and there's like reviews like, I loved it, the chemistry, but why didn't they have sex?
Dude, I remember there was I remember I worked at this restaurant, and the fucking manager, he would write fucking like what's it called, like fan fiction, fucking like sex stories, and he would hand them out to coworkers for critiques. And I just remember being like, yo, this motherfucker hasn't been fired yet. Everyone's like, no, it's got like a thing he does. I'm like, this is weird. And it was just so fucking, he was just so ballsy. Dude, it was hilarious.
Well, supposedly 50 Shades is a Twilight fanfic.
Oh, yeah, I believe it.
And I like the Red Room of Pain, vampires, blah, 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 blah.
I was a huge Harry Potter nerd. That was my shit. I was a huge Harry Potter. Still am.
My youngest, Brody, we're listening to it on audio right now. And we're in the second to last chapter, so they're right about to go like into the tunnel to get the Sorcerer's Stone. And we were listening to it on the way to school. And I was like, all right, Brody, we're here. And he's like, Mom, why couldn't you drive slower? And he was so pissed at me.
The movies were super good.
Well, I'm being the bad mom where I'm like, you can't watch the movies until we finish the book.
That's a good mom.
So, but yeah, he's like, can we listen to the second one after the first one? And I was like, yep, let's do it.
See, man, getting your kids to read. Yeah, my grandfather was real adamant about us reading a lot as kids.
Yeah, well, see, I was a super nerd and I was very awkward. I still am. Like, I don't know how to talk to people unless they're naked, face down. Then I'm like, oh, I got you. And so I read a lot. And then I started writing. And then when John went to Portland, Oregon for 8 months, that's when I wrote my first book. Because I'm like, what am I going to do? So.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, GK was writing on napkins and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
I bet she got theme parks.
Yeah, no shit. Good for her. I'm like, I want to do that next. Can it be me?
Has anyone ever done this podcast? So like every time we start a conversation, they're like, there's just like an hour of the dude just getting a massage.
No.
That'd be hilarious.
The only, let's see, Sam Tripoli screamed.
Why?
Because I'd be like doing this and he'd be like, oh.
Is he just very tender?
I don't know. He's just Sam, I think.
Hilarious.
And so, like, I had to cut. I normally don't edit these, but I had to actually go in and take some of it out because it was just way too much. Because he's all, oh, and I'm all, okay. And then at one point he's like, can you go get me my phone?
Oh.
And I'm all, I'm massaging you right now. Yeah, just go get my phone. I'm all, okay. And Dana walked in and he like started having a conversation with her. And I'm all, hey, come on. I only got you for a couple more minutes. Like, stick with me.
Focus. We did the CBD massages for my bachelor party in Denver. That was dope.
Oh, I have CBD. I can't believe I forgot it. The Care by Design guys, they hooked me up. They made me a huge bottle. Rogan's the only other person who has one. And I use it and I didn't bring it out because
I got some CBD stuff for my grandparents, my wife's grandparents. They like it.
That's cool. I love it. Because I don't smoke pot. So when the CBD guys were like, hey, take whatever product you want. And I'm like, I don't smoke pot. And they're like, today? And I'm all, or ever. And they're like, wait, what? And then they're like, here, take the CBD stuff. And I'm all, okay, I think. So, what time do I have to get you out of here?
30 minutes. What time is it?
It's 6:40.
All right, perfect. Yeah, 6:45 is good. Or 6:50.
Okay.
I gotta go do more phone stuff.
Yay.
That's actually the most, I mean, it's not stressful, but it's fun. It's a good job. But it's just, you know, people cancel, you gotta go and like get avails and stuff.
Right.
It's always nice. It's a good, I like working here. I like working at the club.
I do too. I wish I was doing just the kitchen. Like I asked a couple people, I'm like, hey, let me do phones. Like I used to work for Microsoft and AT&T, like on phones. And they're like, no. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, they want to keep it comics.
Yeah.
I get it though, because they don't want, you know, you have to deal with a bunch of people, and it's easier because it's like, you know, since if you've worked with everybody, it's just a little easier.
Right. I mean, maybe it won't happen, but I don't know.
Hey man, if I get fired.
Don't get fired. I keep trying to tell Jody, I'm like, you can fire me from the kitchen. Like the only reason I'm doing this is to network, and I've only opened or featured for someone once in a year, so it's not working.
Yeah, chicken tenders are getting stale.
Right? I'm like, family and friends, it's not happening. I'm like, so you can fire me. I'm cool. I'm cool.
You get that unemployment. It's very hard to get fired
Yeah, I've noticed.
here.
Because I've tried.
I love this.
I'm like, really? I'm
It's a
Jody's.
fun place. I love this place.
It's my favorite place in the world. I walked in here the first time and I'm like, I'm home.
Yeah.
And John's like, oh shit. And we were coming here before I even wanted to do comedy.
Yeah.
Like we were just coming here. We've been coming here like 6-7 years. And we watched Steve Simone on stage bomb, like horribly bomb. And he is like, I know what you guys are all thinking. You're all thinking, I could do stand-up. And I looked and I go, I'm thinking that. And John's like, I'm not. And that's when I was all, oh, we're different.
You're bombing on Kill Tony. Steve Simone just comes out from the back and he's just like, hey, buddy.
Hey, nerd. Hey, dork.
Steve's the best. He's such a nice guy.
He's so nice. And he actually, okay, so he yelled because the girl, this blonde, white, uber drunk chick. And at one point, she like interrupted him while he was talking. And she's like, I just wanted to give you a joke. And he yelled at her and then he walked off stage. And then he came back and he gave her a hug. And he's like, I feel so bad. And oh, damn.
Yeah, he's got a big heart.
Now, do you have any like crazy stories being on stage? Like any that just stick out or like?
Oh, a lot of people just want to fight me.
Really?
I don't know why. It's usually old white guys. Or, you know, they I don't know. Talk a lot of shit. And, yeah, that's about it.
See, I have.
No one's ever, like, rushed the stage, but they're always like, I'll see you outside. I'm like, all right, man. Then I'll call my dad. My dad's like, I'm so fucking proud of you.
That's funny.
It's so funny. People want to fight you. I love it.
Dad, I'm in. I made it.
Yeah. My dad's weird. I remember one time some guy fucking, like, this is a bunch of guys, like, you know, he walks around wearing a Dodgers jersey in the Bay Area, which is a big no-no. I remember some guys, like, trying to fight him over it. They wanted to, like, fucking jump him, and, like, a bunch of shit. My dad was like, no, man, I ain't taking this shit off. I'd rather die in it. And I was like, bro, that is the craziest thing I've ever heard. I'm like, bro, you got kids and shit? He's like, yeah, man, but, you know.
You know.
He was like, he goes, you wouldn't die on stage for a joke? And I go, God damn it, he's right.
You're like, yeah, but Dad, would a Dodger die for you?
That's true.
Like,
He's a huge Dodger fan.
would a Dodger put it? John's grandma was a huge Dodger fan.
My grandfather helped build Dodger Stadium. He was a concretist.
That's cool. My dad was the electrician for Corcoran Prison, where Manson was.
Oh shit.
And if my dad ever like got in trouble and had to go to prison, he wouldn't be allowed to go to Corcoran because he knows the electrical layout.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And I was like, oh, that's
So if you know the layout of all the prisons, you never get to go to jail.
ooh, there you go.
Dun, dun, dun.
Be like, I studied architecture, and for my thesis, I did every prison in the United States.
I watched all 4 seasons of Prison Break. Nothing can hold me.
Well, John just texted me, and he's like, dude, this Don't Fuck with Cats documentary is getting crazier.
I can't wait to go home and watch. It is, it has me on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, he was like, Joy. Okay. Well, I don't know why you called me just to tell me.
Oh my God, my nose itches so bad. Okay, I'm good. Whew, okay.
Now, are you going on the road? Are you doing anything? What's next?
Yeah, I got stuff next year. I'm going out with Mo Amber again, and then Bert Kreischer's going to talk me some dates.
Ooh,
That's
very
whoever I, harass. But I try, I usually just try to wait to see whoever is like, hey, you want a feature? And I'm so bad at asking people.
I'm so bad.
And it's also like, you should have it all just depends on how you are as a comic,
Right.
Like if you are in the space where it's totally like some people like you ask and they're like, yeah, of course,
Right.
It's like I'm paid regular, I've done all these things. So sometimes it's just
You're
asking.
you're legit though.
Yeah, and then but other times you see, if you're too young or you're too new or you can't, do the. I mean, I remember when I was really young, not really young, but I was younger in it. A really huge guy asked me to feature for him, like my first theater, and I told him no, because he wanted me to do 25 minutes, and I knew I didn't have it.
Right.
And I was like, I don't want to fucking do that, and he like respected that I told him that.
Right.
And it worked out, but it was just like there's definitely the moment of like some people would just be like, "No, do it," and I'm like, "No, I don't want to fucking eat it."
No, I get that.
You don't want to fucking ruin your opportunity. Don't take the chance just because it's like right there,
Right.
Sometimes you gotta like be prepared. Sometimes there's better chances to come.
That's true. You just have to be smart about it.
Yeah.
Damn, you've really got something going on in your right shoulder right here.
Yeah.
I keep coming back to it.
What is it?
It's just a big knot.
Ugh.
Like, you feel it? It's all crunchy.
Yeah. Is that shoulder cancer?
Oh my god. Okay. Jamar.
Our neighbors?
Yes.
Bro, I don't know if it's Mexicans or fucking just like fucking like moms or whatever. My mom will say some shit to me and I'm like, you're ridiculous. And then I'll like talk to my wife and I'll be like, yo, am I dying? And she's like, you get this from your mom. Your mom's a hypochondriac and you are not.
Well,
like I ate a cookie and it kind of smelled bad and I was positive I was going to get salmonella because the eggs were bad in it. And she was like, no, it's probably just freezer burn. And I'm just like, I don't know, man. I don't want to die.
I was in the parking lot and Jamar's all, hey, massage girl. And I was like, you don't know my name. All right. And I walked up and he's like, my arm. And he just had a big knot in his forearm and he boxes and he works out a lot. And he's like, is it arm cancer? So, no, he goes, do I have cancer? I go, I don't know if you have cancer, but you just have a knot in your arm. And he goes, what should I do? And I go, maybe just, rest for a while, not work out. And he's like, but then I'm going to get fat. And I'm like, I didn't say stop. Just give it a week. I'm dying. I'm like, you're not, oh my God. Okay. I'm like, I don't think I can talk any sense into you right now. All right. Is there anything you want to end on? Anything you want to promote?
No, is there any question you want to ask me before I go?
Best advice for a comic.
Boom. Don't sweat the small stuff.
Chicken noodle soup for the soul.
Yeah, don't sweat the small stuff. Ask yourself am I better than I was the day before? Sit down and fucking actually write.
Yes.
That's the toughest thing is actually sitting down and writing. But a very famous director and writer told me, the one thing that you can find comfort in is that every time you sit down to write, that feeling of like, fuck, I hate this, every person that's ever written anything good has felt that exact same feeling.
That's true.
So, you're not alone. Other than that, do you want fame or respect? I'd rather have respect than fame.
Ooh, nice.
Just don't try. It's like I feel like you see so many people chasing stuff, and it's like, nah, get good.
Yes.
Get so good that it's like they chase you.
That's what Jeselnik was saying too. He's like, they came to me. Most embarrassing story.
Oh man, I got a really embarrassing Louis C.K. story. I mean, not that embarrassing, right? I remember.
It's like a Gallagher show.
He was my favorite comic coming up. Obviously, aside from all the fucking really terrible shit he did. But I remember he was a roast battle fan. So he'd watched the first season. I remember he was a fan of Olivia Grace and all this jazz because he was there at Just for Laughs when they filmed it.
Okay.
So I knew he watched the second season because Todd Barry was on it, and I'm just big fan of his, and I always wanted to like talk to him about it because I won, and I thought and it was so. But I knew I never wanted to bring it up to him because it's just kind of like fucking like, hey,
right, connections.
Yeah, and so he shows up one day to pop in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great set. And Tony Hitchcock's there and a few other people, and he walks by Tony and goes, hey man, you were really good on roast, but I thought you were really funny. And I was like, oh, this is it. This is my moment, because we're all talking about roast battle. So I go, hey man, I won season 2. And he looks at me and he goes, thanks, bro. And then he like walks away, and all of my friends just kind of like, they totally fully understood that he misheard me.
Uh-huh.
And he thought I complimented him on his season 2 of the show he was doing. So they just let it happen, and they just let him, like, no one stopped because they just watched me just fucking whiff. And he just, like, gets in his car and leaves, and all my friends just die laughing. And Tony, like, puts his hand on my shoulder and he goes, hey, man, don't worry. You'll see him again next time. The next day, the article came out.
Ouch.
And I never saw him again.
Aww. All right, do you want to plug any social media before
Frank C. Comedy on Twitter, Frank Castillo on Instagram.
Perfect. How do you feel?
Oh my god, it was so amazing.
Perfect. All right, see, we finished on a good time.
Oh.
You are ready. Ta-da!